Hi, hello and welcome to a just random Saturday Jetty Get Ready With Me video. I was inspired by two things. One, makeup products that I haven't used in a while. More specifically, this week I dipped into my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glam palette combo. For those of you who remember this, and I will elaborate a bit on this later, but I kind of mixed the two palettes. And also the NARS Climax palette and like some face products that I thought about. And also I wanted to chat with you about some new makeup items that I have bought. So to start off with, I'm going to do my eyeshadow primer using my trusty Inglot eyeshadow base. So for some reason, and I don't really know why that is, it's not that I don't like Natasha Denona's eyeshadow palette formula or that I grew bored of the palettes that I have, because I don't actually have that many palettes from Natasha Denona. I have the face palette, like the eye and face palettes in light and the dark version of it. I love the light version. I use that one all the time. That tends to be the palette that I use the most often when I think about Natasha Denona. But then I also have the Glam, I have the I Need a Nude, I have the Gold palette, the Bronze palette. I do occasionally remember the Bronze palette when spring and summer come, but like Natasha Denona is sort of like an afterthought for me, and I cannot explain it for the life of me. I really don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they're more like traditional eyeshadows and I'm more into those like cream to powder and baked gelée eyeshadows at the moment. I, for the life of me, cannot tell you what the reason is, but I dipped into my combo palette of Natasha Denona this past week and I thought, what's wrong with me? They're just gorgeous eyeshadows. I should use them more. A product that I don't really use a lot anymore because I'm basically trying to pan it as soon as possible to get rid of it is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the shade Deauville. There's nothing wrong with this foundation, it's just that with any other foundation I've ever had, when I compare it to my beloved Estee Lauder Double Wear, it just doesn't hold up, okay? This is a beautiful foundation, very natural finish, fantastic shade match, but it just doesn't hold up in the same way that my Estee Lauder Double Wear does. And today, it's just a Saturday, it's already past midday, so I'm not going to wear my makeup for a very long time. I'm not going to work, I'm not going to sweat on my bike, so this foundation is safe to use in the sense that I know I can wear it for a long amount of time without having to worry that it's going to slip and slide around. On a work day, maybe depending on my hormones or depending on how busy and stressed I was, this foundation sometimes tends to start looking really powdery and to slip and slide around throughout the day and just look very foundation-y. So I can't rely on it, and if I can't rely on it, I'm not going to reach for it often. So lately I've been using it more as like a weekend foundation, because then I know, you know, for a couple of hours just hanging out in town, it will be fine. And because I literally only have like this much left, I think you can maybe see a little bit, but there's like just a little bit left here. I'm almost scraping the bottom. I will try to get almost every last bit before I call it quits. I am just, you know, going to persevere until the foundation is actually done, and then I can have a dedicated relationship with my Estee Lauder Double Wear. Although I do have to start using my Prada foundation a bit more, but I do love how the Estee Lauder and the Prada foundations mix together, so I think that's going to be my favorite mix over the coming months, especially once the NARS one is done. I'm going to grab the Dior Skin Correct Concealer in the shade 1N, and you're probably dying to hear what it is that I finally bought. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did buy some items in January and February. I bought the Wycon eyeshadows and I purchased Guinevere from Pat, but my fingers were like really itching to buy something new. It's just that I didn't really see makeup releases that inspired me this much, and I didn't want to just buy things for the sake of buying them. Now, as you know, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the local stores to finally stock Nocturnal Nude from the new YSL blush range, and hallelujah, today I finally found Nocturnal Nude available online on Easy Putty XL. For those of you who are in the Netherlands and might be wondering where I finally bought the shade, it's still not available in store because there was an option to purchase it and then collect it in store, but when I checked the availability in store, they don't actually have it in the store in the city where I live, so I did order it and it will be here next week at some point. I'm very excited for that because I was this close to purchasing Rose Haze just to purchase a shade in this range. and that would have literally gone against everything I believe when it comes to purchasing makeup. So that would have been a real bummer if I had fallen for that trap. But thank goodness the shade finally became available and I don't have to worry about it. Alright, a powder that I use kind of in combination with the NARS foundation, because I find that the two make a really good combination. Like they fit very well together in terms of the texture and the effect that I'm looking for. I have a feeling there's hair somewhere underneath here. So that is my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Dim Light. I made whole videos about lessons that I have learned over the course of the years of purchasing makeup, which I can link for you somewhere up here. If I don't forget editing, Mariam, please don't forget to add the links, because I think they still stand. And one of those was purchasing, you know, the second best, like not the product that you really wanted to, but the second best because you couldn't get the product that you really wanted to. And I was this close to falling for that mistake again after so many years and after all the lessons that I've learned. Anyway, luckily I did not, because finally Nocturnal Nude was in stock and I managed to exercise a lot of self-control throughout the past few weeks not purchasing that shade. I'm going to quickly do my brows with the Too Faced Laminating Brow Wax. The next item is going to surprise you. Honestly, it surprised me, but the second item that I purchased is an eyeshadow palette, the first one that I've purchased this year, and that is the Denim Dimensions, one of the new Charlotte Tilbury 9 pans. I wasn't originally planning on getting any of these. I was mildly interested, though. I will say this, I was mildly interested. And my interest was mostly piqued by the neutral palette, the one that has all the delicious cooler taupe looking mattes and a couple of interesting shimmers in there. And while that palette still is low-key on my radar, I want to see what the formula is like first. And second of all, as much as I love the color story of that neutral palette, I'm sure I have all the eyeshadows in there several times over in fantastic formulas as well. Now, something that I didn't have is those delightful denim colored blues. I love blue eyeshadow. We are going to use a blue eyeshadow today that is kind of in a similar tone, I think, to the Denim Dimensions from Charlotte Tilbury. But then I saw a couple of videos and I really love the undertones that are present in that palette. For my bronzer, I'm actually going to dip into a Charlotte Tilbury product that it's not that I tend to not use a lot or forget about, but it's just such a specific color that it really only suits me in the winter with very specific types of looks. So I'm going to use it today. This is the shade Light. And the thing is, I will always choose the Hourglass, what is it? Bronze Light bronzer over this one, because this one has those slightly greenish undertones, which are not the most flattering on my skin. And it's not that I see, like, if I put the bronzer on now, it's more of like a bronzer shade on me. You're not going to see any of those like greenish undertones. It's under very specific like artificial lighting that sometimes I feel like when I turn, my face almost looks a little bit green. So because of that, and because I slightly favor the undertone of Bronze Light from Hourglass, I will always choose for that over the Charlotte Tilbury one, this Charlotte Tilbury one, when I'm doing cooler toned looks. But today I figured let's use this one because I do actually really liked the formula of these sun-kissed bronzers. I think the shade is actually quite nice for me. It's a very like neutral shade. It's not too cool, it's not too gray. So I do actually quite like it. It's just that I use it under very specific circumstances. For blush, I'm going to take this Luminous Silk Blush in the shade number 10 from Armani. This is a beautiful shade, a beautiful formula, and for whatever reason I tend to forget that I own it. It has a very nice formula, like a very beautiful finely milled powder that really blurs your skin. It's a gorgeous shade, like a very neutral, like a peachy nude basically. And I don't really know why I forget about it, but I tend to forget about it. I think it's because it's a very light shade and I can really only wear it when I am quite pale. And I only tend to like it with specific like bronzer shades, I don't know. But going back to Denim Dimensions from Charlotte Tilbury, I really love the undertones of the blues in there. Like not all of the blues in there have those denim undertones, but oh, the ones that do look so incredibly delightful. So it looks like a very, you know, unique palette in terms of the undertones and hopefully tones that I am going to use. I think blue eyeshadow really suits me. I mean, I don't suffer the delusion that I'm going to wear it every other day because I don't really wear blue eyeshadow every other day. But when I do, these are the tones of blues that I really like. Gucci highlighter in the shade Opal Pink. Not that I tend to forget about this, but it's just that I think I would rather use other highlighters in my collection over this one, just because this never quite became my favorite. It's a bummer because I love pretty much everything else that I've tried from the Gucci makeup line. Not that it's a lot, but what I have tried has always really impressed me, and this left me slightly underwhelmed. So I tend to forget about it or choose other makeup over it. But you know, let's bust it out today because, you know, it's not bad, it's not great, it's just okay. I'm going to quickly set all the face products with a little bit of Fix Plus. And I saw that Yori, so actually I'm going to use the opportunity to shout out her channel. Yori from My Personal Beauty Lab, I think that's how her channel is called, but I'm going to leave a link to it in the description box below, is back on YouTube. She was one of my favorites, but a couple of years ago she sort of like decreased the amount of content she was posting, and at some point she just disappeared, and I'm so glad that she's back. So shout out to Yori. But she demoed one of those Charlotte Tilbury palettes in one of her latest videos. She did a look with the neutral one, the one with all the taupe shades, and it looked beautiful. And I think we have somewhat similar like tones to our complexion. Like she also has like high contrast in her skin and her hair, and brown eyes, and the palette looked really beautiful and elegant on her. So depending on how things go with Denim Dimensions, I might be really tempted to get the neutral palette as well. Okay, I zoomed you in a little bit, and we're going to start off with the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude / Glam palette. For those of you who remember, I mixed the two in the sense that I basically created one palette which has all the mattes from Glam and I Need a Nude with a couple of the shimmers, and one palette which contains obviously all the metallic and shimmery shades from both palettes. So I don't have the individual shades from the palettes anymore. I vaguely remember which one comes from which palette. So I think today we're mostly going to use mattes from the I Need a Nude palette, because I really like these like rosy taupey mattes from the I Need a Nude palette. So those are the ones that I'm going to also use today. I'm going to grab a fluffy brush, and I'm first going to go into this shade over here to put through my crease. Now, the second palette I'm going to use is the NARS Climax, and if we're being completely honest, there's actually a palette in NARS Climax that is also this undertone. But because I want to dip into some of the deeper browns from I Need a Nude, I figured we can just stick to the mattes with I Need a Nude. So I'm going to grab the shade from I Need a Nude that is, you know, like a mid-tone taupey brown. Unfortunately, I don't know the names anymore because I swapped everything around. So yes, I bought the Charlotte Tilbury palette and I purchased Nocturnal Nude finally. And something that I will show you later on, but I made a small Prada purchase, and the Prada purchase has already arrived. I purchased it from Look Fantastic. I've been talking already for a while. Some of you will know because I've mentioned it several times that I wanted to really have a red lipstick in the soft matte formula from Prada. But I didn't want to buy the whole thing, I wanted to buy a refill. And not only did I want to buy a refill, I wanted to buy it from Look Fantastic with some sort of a discount code so that, you know, I can save some money. So finally, and there was a specific shade of red from the soft matte line that I had in mind, and that was the shade Granato, because I wanted to have a red which is more on the neutral / pink bordering territory, because those are my favorite kind of reds. I didn't want it to be too warm or like orangey leaning. And I wanted it to be a soft matte, not a hyper matte. I think in the hyper matte I would have had an easier time getting one of the refills. But I do have the feeling that Look Fantastic really stocks like 1 or 2 shades per product from the Prada makeup line. And I saw that as soon as I purchased the refill from Granato, it just disappeared. So I think they just have very low stock of everything from Prada Beauty. So if I see something, and I know that now that for the future, if I see something, I should probably act quickly before it gets out of stock again. I am going to quickly apply the vanilla shade here from the I Need a Nude palette. I'm pretty sure that's also from I Need a Nude, here under my brows, on my brow bone. So I purchased the shade Granato. Full transparency, I've actually already worn it once. I wore it yesterday and I really loved it. It was everything that I was hoping for it to be. And I have purchased one of the lip balms, and that I purchased with the outer component as well. But I will tell you more about it when I actually start using it. I've made a deal with myself that I have several of those like lip balm type products that I have here on my vanity that are very close to being finished, and as soon as a few of them are finished, I'm allowed to bust open the lip balm from Prada, but not before that. Sticking with the I Need a Nude palette, now I'm going to take this somewhat deeper, similarly toned pink taupe matte eyeshadow, and that's going to go here in the outer corner of the eye. This eyeshadow is not dramatically deeper than the one that I applied before, but I'm not really looking for making everything very dramatic, or I might actually swirl a little bit of one of the darker browns just in the base of my lashes to intensify them. And of course I'm still waiting for the new Prada quads to be released so that I can decide which ones I want to buy. It would actually be super nice if more people get these on YouTube so that I can see all three of them and make a very well informed decision of which ones I would like to buy. I'm going to grab this same brush on which I had the mid-tone brown and just run that on my lower lashes. So I'm very excited for all the new things that I purchased, well, the few makeup items that I purchased. Do you guys have any of them? I want to say Nocturnal Nude is also not available in the US, so I don't think that any of you have that shade too. The only person that I've seen the review and demo that shade was Martina. I'm going to grab this tiny smudger brush here from Sonia G, and I'm going to take this brown right here, which I believe is also from the I Need a Nude palette, and I'm going to apply that right here, very close to the lashes, just to intensify and smoke out the lash line. Did you guys purchase those new Charlotte Tilbury palettes? Which ones did you purchase? Are you happy with your purchase? Are they good quality? From what I've seen, there are no issues with the quality. People are really enjoying them. Considering the packaging, they are giving a little bit of drugstore feelings, but hopefully the product inside is so nice that we quickly forget about the drugstore feels. I don't really know what's going on here. The eyeshadow just doesn't want to stick to this part of my lid for whatever reason. So I am actually going to grab a little bit of ground coffee from Lisa Eldridge just to fill in that gap here, because probably I just didn't apply my eyeshadow primer there very well and the powder isn't sticking. But you know, nothing a pencil can't fix. Next time I'm going to take a little bit of glitter glue to apply over my lids, and then we're going to dip into the NARS Climax palette. And to no one's surprise, I'm taking the denim looking blue, because now that I've ordered those blues, I'm inspired to wear blue eyeshadow. I'm going to take a flat shader brush and I'm going to dip into this beautiful shade here to apply all over my lids. I think these are the tones of blue that are going to be also in that Charlotte Tilbury palette, but like a whole variety of them, and some of them will lean a little bit more purpley, which is also something I quite enjoy. At least in the photos, the Charlotte Tilbury palettes is just pulling on all the strings of my heart when it comes to the undertones of the blues. I'm going to grab my blending brush again and just give everything a nice little swirl here in my crease. I'm going to pop a little bit of this Kiko eyeshadow stick here in my inner corner as a base for the eyeshadow. I know, total overkill, but hey, it really works, and I really like not losing my inner corners within 5 minutes after I apply my eyeshadow, which is usually what happens. Okay, going back into the NARS Climax palette, and I'm going to take this shade first in my inner corners, and then I'm also actually going to pop a tiny bit of that over the blue, just to give it a little bit more light in the center of the lid. For that, I'm just going to use my finger and grab a few flakes and just layer that here in the center of the lid over the blue, and I'm just going to smoosh the eyeshadows together with my finger. I find that that really helps to mix the two to create sort of like, you know, one eyeshadow that has multiple dimensions to it. For whatever strange reason, I haven't used my beloved Painterly in a while, so that's what I have on my lips. This is the Luxuriously Lucent lipstick from Lisa Eldridge, in my beloved shade Painterly, which I think perfectly completes this look and really fits the denim blue on my eyes. I hope that you enjoyed this look and this super random Jetty Get Ready With Me video. I can't wait to receive the new products. I'm super curious to finally try Nocturnal Nude on my actual face after a month of waiting. By the way, I did buy it on sale, just so you know. I didn't buy it full price. I waited for a month for it to be in stock and I purchased it on sale. Good job, Mariam. I'm actually super curious about the Charlotte Tilbury palette because I just realized I've never actually tried Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadows. I don't have a single... No, I do. I do have an actual single. I finally tried her formula of eyeshadow, or at least the... whatchamacallit? The Hypnotizing Pop Shots. I have one of her Hypnotizing Pop Shots since like the end of last year, but I've never actually owned a palette from her, and I'm pretty sure these new palettes are also not directly comparable with stuff she's released before. So I'm just very curious about the formula, about the eyeshadows, about those delicious blue tones. Do let me know, share all of your thoughts about my purchases in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about this look. As usual, thank you so very much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!